Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Comic Call. I'm your host, Dylan Lang. I'm here to do this week's comics. These comics came out on February 27th, so they were the last week of February. Okay amount of stuff. Still maybe feeling a little bit not underwhelmed, but there was some okay stuff. We'll see what happens. March is coming in like a storm. We'll probably get some new books coming in, and maybe we'll get back to excitement on this. But this is this week's haul. Again, there's more stuff that came out, and there's more stuff that I probably won't be collecting sooner than after this, but I'm just going to keep going with this one. First up, we have Heroes in Crisis #6 from DC, written by Tom King, with art by Mitch Gerads and Clay Mann. They've been doing a really good job with the series. It's been a fascinating story, and we get some extra added wrinkles to it, and you get Mitch Gerads doing some artwork. Clay Mann has been doing pretty good with the artwork, but now they're bringing in something new now, and we're going to have to figure out how all this is going to come together and how this is all going to end, so we will see what happens. So pretty good series there. I'm enjoying it so far. It's variant week, really, because the next three are variant covers that I wanted to get because I liked them better than the regular covers. This is a rare John Byrne cover. I haven't seen in a while. This is for Detective Comics number 999, which means this came out this week. That means in 2 weeks, which I guess, let's see, next week would be the 6th. So the 13th of March will be the release of Detective Comics 1000, which is the big story. Where's the big ad for it? The big ad for Detective Comics 1000 is right here. But this is issue 999, which ends Peter Tomasi's first story arc with Peter Tomasi writer Doug Mahnke, penciler and inker Christian Alme, Keith Champagne, Mark Irwin, and Jaime Mendoza. We find out who's been causing all this craziness to Batman, and then it's a little bit of a weird cliffhanger-y type of ending. Kind of bizarre thing, but hey, just look at this John Byrne cover. I haven't seen a really good John Byrne artwork for a DC or Marvel character in a while, so that was good. That's why I had to get that variant. Next up, we have Wonder Woman number 65. Art Germ does a fantastic job with their realistic pictures, and I just love this picture of Wonder Woman. So this is, similar to their version of Supergirl, but it's, a little bit different. But this is G. Willow Wilson, writer, Jesus Marino pencils, inks by Andy Owens. Aphrodite, sexy Aphrodite is in there, so she's going to become a regular character, it looks like. And this has been G. Willow Wilson's been doing a really, really good bang-up job with this book, bringing the Greek mythology back to Wonder Woman, which is great. So continuing to get that is good. Third up is Michael Cho's cover to Shazam number 3. I just like how it just looks old school. Jeff Johns, writer, Dale Eaglesham, artist, and Marco Santucci and Mayo Sinaito. So, with Shazam's movie coming out next month, it's a good time to pick up and learn more about Shazam. So, and Jeff Johns has always been a guy who loves Shazam, so he's writing this book, and pretty good version of that. So I like that cover as well. That's really it for the variants, I think. Next up, Steve Epting is doing a really bang-up job with Action, along with Brian Michael Bendis. This is issue number 1008 of Action Comics. Steve Epting, artist. Brian Michael Bendis, writer. And you get a little bit of Adam Strange in there. Adam Strange is one of my favorite characters. It's good to see him in action for whatever reason. We get, some interesting stuff here and there. So, pretty good storyline he's been telling so far. Finally, the last chapter of the crossover with Batman and the Flash, called The Price, which destroys Batman and the Flash's friendship for good and sets up a story arc down the line. Features great artwork by Rafa Sandoval and Jordi Terragan inker, with written by Joshua Williamson. So we get the final part of the story of Batman and the Flash working together, which is a shame because I think the Batman and the Flash having sort of a friendship type of thing was a good idea because they're both detectives, and it's fun to see that. And now their friendship is falling apart, and now Batman is starting to get suspicious of people, as he usually does. So we have Martian Manhunter number 3. Haven't been blown away by this series so much. I love Martian Manhunter, but Steve Orlando, writer, artist, is Riley Rossmo, which is not one of my favorites. I guess maybe that might be the one of the things here, but it's definitely a new take on the Martian Manhunter, and I'm not sure if I'm entirely 100% on board with it, but it's a 12-issue miniseries, and I'll keep at it because I do like Martian Manhunter. Next, we had Justice League Odyssey number 6, which I'm probably going to be dropping really soon, though. Again, and the funny thing was Joshua Williamson was supposed to be writing this also, and he and Stephen Sedgwick were supposed to be the creative team on it, but because of some other issues, stuff like that, Stephen Sedgwick left after 2 issues, and now it appears Joshua Williamson is gone because Dan Abnett is the writer of this one, with art by Carmine Di Giandomenico. So I don't know if this is a new thing or whatever, but I mean, it started off as a good premise and part of the whole change that they're doing with the DC universe, and it's a distinct, separate team. You didn't expect Azrael and Cyborg, Starfire, Jessica Cruz, and what's his face, Darkseid, and multiple dimensions and planets and stuff like that. It was an interesting idea, but we'll see what happens. As I said, I might be dropping that one soon. Who knows? Hex Wives number 5. Vertigo story about a coven of witches that used to control mankind, but then somehow mankind got the upper hand on them and took them over. And now they're starting to come back again. It's written by Ben Blacker with art by Mirka Andolfo. So it is Vertigo, so it does have more nudity, sex, and violence in it than you expect in adult situations. So this is probably when I'm going to stop collecting as well soon, because it started off as a good story, but just I'm not reading it, and it's not as interesting to me as much. Amazing Spider-Man kicks off its brand new story arc with Kraven the Hunter. This is the Road to Hunted, written by Nick Spencer with art by Ryan Ottley and Alberto Albuquerque, with inks by Cliff Rathburn and Alberto Albuquerque. It sets up the Kraven, next big Kraven storyline that's going to be coming through Spider-Man. It's a bigger issue. It costs $4.99 to the typical $3.99. And you get a little bit of Puma action and some other stuff as well. So we'll see where this goes. Kraven's always been a good character, so we'll see what happens with that. Here's Captain America's Face. This is Captain America number 8, written by Tanishi Coates with art by Adam Kubert. This has Steve Rogers in jail. So good on that. Next up, we have West Coast Avengers number 8, written by Kelly Thompson with art by Gang Hyuk Lim. I actually kind of like the artwork on this one, and I kind of hope that maybe he's going to become the regular artist on the series, because it's very anime-esque looking. I like the cover also, but I think it's a really nice looking artwork, and should be a lot of fun. West Coast Avengers has always been a fun book. It's the Chip Zdarsky twofers. Daredevil number 2, Chip Zdarsky, writer, artist, what's your name? Marco Checchetto. I still haven't read the first issue, and it was one of the things where I thought, Chip Zdarsky, I liked him on Sex Criminals, and now he's writing his own stuff and not really drawing it, and it's okay. But then I read his Spider-Man, entire Spider-Man run in one sitting, and it was fantastic. So maybe I'll do that with Daredevil. I'm probably going to drop this one, though. Invaders just doesn't hold my attention, but Invaders number 2 is out, also written by Chip Zdarsky, with art by Carlos Mongo and Butch Guice. You get Captain America, Namor, Winter Soldier, and I guess they're going to bring the Human Torch in here eventually. Those are the Invaders, so we'll see what happens with that, and we'll see what Chip's doing. Chip's also got a really good Spider-Man series coming up, I think in March, actually. It should be good, which is Spider-Man Through the Years, and it's going to be the decade, so it's going to be Spider-Man 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on and so forth. Good. That's it for Marvel. From Independence, we have Buffy number 2, which is continuing the reconstruction of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, a completely new series. Story idea written by Jordi Belair with art by Dan Mora. It's not your typical Buffy storyline. she's already working at the restaurant, and instead of Angel, it's Spike, who is the one who introduces himself first. This guy is the guy who was the Wood, who was the principal of the school in the last season. He's now going to become a character, regular character on there. And then you also have Drusilla as a more interesting bad guy, and also Xander is suffering from issues. So different take on the series. The first issue was okay, but it's definitely not. If you're a Buffy Vampire Slayer, it's the same general idea, but it's completely changed up a little bit and completely original. So that could be a plus to that. Hack Slash is always one of my favorite books. This one is Hack Slash versus Chaos, number 3, written by Tim Seeley with art by Sealor. So it's good to see Tim Seeley back writing the characters he created. As always, hot chicks and tight leather is always good to look at. And so lots of violence, some kind of sexy stuff as well. And Chaos has always been one of these interesting characters. Finally, we have Oliver number 2, a post-apocalyptic version of Oliver Twist, written by Gary Whitta with art by Derek Robertson, which is fantastic. Haven't seen his artwork in a while. So a definite post-apocalyptic take on Oliver Twist is always interesting. That's it for this week's comics. I haven't had a chance to look at next week's schedule yet, so I don't know what's popping up. But as I said, there should be some interesting things rolling through. Eventually, we're going to get back to Tom King's Batman story. We'll be rolling through next week, I think. Also, Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man series will be coming up again. I think his new series is coming up again as well. So we've got some stuff going on. There's going to be probably some Captain Marvel stuff, because for you comic book fans out there, Captain Marvel, the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie of the year, is out this Friday coming up. I will be seeing it on Saturday the 9th with my wife and my kids, because my wife absolutely loves Captain Marvel. And we'll let you know. So definitely check out your comic book store. They're probably going to be doing some sort of Captain Marvel stuff this weekend. I would if I was a comic book store, because lots of people are going to go see it. Lots of people are going to want to get comic book stuff. So why not dig it? Okay. So check it out. Read some Captain Marvel. Check out your local comic book store. If you don't know where your comic book store is, go to the comic shop locator service on your search engine. Find that on your search engine, then go to the website, click in your zip code, and it'll give you all the comic book stores within about a 20-mile radius. And you can click on them as well to see their websites, or just get directions or whatever, and check it out. So definitely keep an eye out. Next week is Captain Marvel week, and the first MCU movie of the year is out. Yay, after the long drought since Ant-Man the Wasp. So here we go. Thank you very much, and have a great day, and see you next week, and buy comics.